So that's the purpose of a data wall, is to provide a visual representation of student achievement where everybody can see what the entire school is doing, so we can figure out how we can support one another and support the kids.
Did the data cards, go back to them for a second, I understand that they had free and reduced lunch data and IEP data as well. Some teachers feel concerned that that might violate student privacy, or maybe, you know, either they just felt a little queasy about it. Some teachers feel that it might violate FERPA.
Now, student names were not on those data wall cards. Student numbers were, but not student names.
Okay, so could have a student ID number and free and reduced lunch status.
And IEP, because you want to get a sense of the subgroups that perhaps aren't as successful as you want them to be.
But some schools also put the student initials on the back of the cards.
You know, they may. I probably wouldn't if I were doing it.
All right. Do you have concerns that the data walls violated student privacy, or no? Okay.
No, because if the only person that would pick up and move those cards is the classroom teacher, who already knows that anyway.
And do the teachers know if their students have free or reduced lunch?
I don't know that they get a list, but for the most part, you know.
Okay.
As a teacher, you know.
Okay. Okay. So that doesn't violate, like, I don't know. Teachers are allowed to know that. Or,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Are teachers allowed to know the free and reduced lunch status of their students?
No, I don't think they are.
They're not supposed to know.
And that's a federal guideline.
Okay. Because some teachers have expressed concerns about the data walls, and they say that information is on the data walls.
We're responsible. It's kind of a crazy thing, because you're responsible for all the subgroups, and one of the subgroups is
free and reduced.
So you're not supposed to have direct knowledge of that, but yet you're responsible for it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So when we do our data, it'll be by the students in your room that were ELL,
so what
special
they do
ed,
is they
free
use
and
a
reduced.
code that they were using dots, and so you could look at a card and you don't have the student's name, but you would know that it's, because you got to go by race, you go by free and reduced, you go by if they're in special needs or if they're getting ELL services, and so you have all these color codes, so you can tell, okay, this is a student, so that you can see trends.
So like there might be one card and like this is.
Yeah.
Well, it'll just
a white male, so we do
okay.
it by sex. I mean, so you can tell exactly. So when you move the cards, the idea is, and you can see if you got trends. You got a subgroup that's not, for whatever reason, we've got to do something here, or so it's kind of a slippery slope.
But so, I mean, that card has on it whether that number, that student ID number, that person who's represented by that number qualifies for free or reduced lunch.
I can't remember if it's already on there, populated that way, or if they actually have to put it on.
Do you mean like if it's already on there?
If it's already populated that way. I don't know if it has, because we put the card, our measurement and eval. I'll have to look at the card. I can't remember if we populate it with it already on the card with the student ID, or if they are actually looking elsewhere and putting a dot on.
But either way, that card indicates whether the child has free or reduced lunch.
Yeah, I think that is one of the, because that's a subgroup we're responsible for. So that's.
Does that violate federal law?
I don't know. If it's already populated on there.
What do you mean already populated? I mean, I don't understand why that part is important. Either way, it seems that the card links a specific ID number to whether they qualify for free or reduced lunch.
I don't know. I didn't ask. I mean, I can't remember if it's already on there or if they're. I just don't know. I'll have to look.
Why don't you get back with her?
Yeah, I will.
Teachers say that it's on there.
It's by a color code, though. It's not connected to a.
But from my understanding, teachers aren't allowed to know, even for their own students, whether they're free or reduced lunch.
Why don't you look and see how we.
I'll see what that is.